Hey everyone, welcome to Tried and Shield Live. Tonight, there was a story that came out in the Associated Press about unannounced active shooters and the harm they're doing. So I'm going to hang out here for a little bit and hopefully get a few people on, and I'll be able to talk um, about how much harm they are, how much harm they do, and how we can actually train for active shooter. Um, Instead of doing unannounced drills, I recommend moving to rehearsals. And I can explain the difference of that here once we get a few people on board and answer any questions. So it's really, really, really important that we get this right. Over on our Facebook page, we had a pretty good discussion and got heated at times on why unannounced active shooter drills are so harmful. Um, you know, they're harmful for a lot of reasons. But again, let's wait for a couple more people to come on here and we can get on. So if you're in the channel right now, go ahead and sound off. Let me know who you are and where you're from, and we can get started on this. So my goals for these talks is always to bring a depth of knowledge and understanding to people out there who have kids or are trying to bring a workplace violence active shooter program into their place, and really bring some value to them and give them some hard answers, because there's a lot of people out there who pretend to know what they're talking about in this industry that don't know what they're talking about. So I'm really hoping to bring some clarity to this discussion. So as far as, I'm going to go ahead and jump into this. So, Henrico County in Virginia, which is about 60 minutes plus from us here in Charlottesville, just got it wrapped up in some drama because they did an unannounced active shooter drill where they, and scare the heck out of the students and scare the heck out of the parents. And, that really caused, really opened some eyes on how this causes problems. And they're trying to figure out how they're going to deal with this. And I just want to try to educate. I know a lot of cops watch this show. I know a lot of, teachers and, administrators watch this, watch our channel. So I just want to tell you what you need to start moving towards when it comes to drilling for active shooter and with your people. So one of the things you're going to want to do is, get rid of the drill mentality. You're never going to create enough stress in that environment to really do what you're trying to do. And I really think a shift to rehearsals is the right way. So that's what we do in our system. We teach rehearsals and not drills. But let me first go over and, for the people who have a short attention span, on why unannounced active shooter drills are so bad. One, it endangers, the students on the inside of the school, because you're telling them, hey, listen, someone's in the building and they're trying to kill you, or someone's in the parking lot and they're trying to kill you. All right. Now, if these kids are trained appropriately, they are, you're going to have kids who are, trying to jumping out of second story windows or even first floor windows, trying to get out of the building, and panic, and a bunch of other different types of situations that are going to happen. Two, you're going to damage the heck out of your building, because if they've been trained appropriately, barricading is not clean and it is not gentle on your building. So furniture, glass being broken, all that stuff, that is, what's going to happen. And you'll do that once, and then you'll have tens of thousands of dollars in damages. People are, throwing, heavy computers and all kinds of stuff against the door to try to barricade. Three, think about, these parents who get these 911 calls. They're going to call, or they get these calls from their kids. They're going to be calling 911. As that word gets out, law enforcement and, people from surrounding districts, people from all around are going to try to kill themselves to get to you, to get to the school. So they're going to endanger the public by driving really fast. They're going to endanger themselves by driving really fast to get to this school where they think kids are being killed. Okay. 4, every parent who is a gun carrying, takes their role as a family protector serious, former military people, former law enforcement, or just people who take that serious, is going to roll to that scene to try to save their kids. After Parkland, people have learned that they can't rely on the police department to protect their kids. That's just the fact of it, And, so now all these people are flooding to that place with weapons to try to be a part of the solution. Good guys are trying to go there to stop the bad guy. And all this because we wanted to run an unannounced active shooter drill. All right. So I hope you can see that those are that's a bad idea for those four. And the fifth is you're discrediting your system. And what do I mean by that? Well, the boy who cried wolf is for real when you're talking about active shooter. So if you start doing all these faux drills where you're telling them it's real and it's not real, well, how are they going to know when you do one if it is real? They're not. So they're just going to assume every time you do one that's not real, you're building up normalcy bias that, hey, when an alarm goes off, it's fake, right? So that's the fifth reason on why we do it. And the sixth reason is that, how much harm are we doing to our kids' psyche by, doing kindergartners, elementary school, middle school, particularly the younger ones, and even high school, where we're telling them that there are people in the building that want to kill them and putting them under that stress. There's a far better way to do this, and it's called a rehearsal. All right. A rehearsal is different than a drill. A drill is there to put stress in and to see what you're going to do under pressure. And you're never going to be able to do that if you're not doing a full-blown FTX type thing where law enforcement is involved, EMS is involved. You have role players who are role playing, with makeup, acting like they're shot. People have scripts to act certain ways, and everyone knows it's a drill from the start, right? So that's one way to do it, right? So the way at Trident and Shield, how we do this is we do this with rehearsals, all right? And rehearsals are totally different. A rehearsal is a back and forth discussion. So when I go into a classroom and I'm going to teach, them, or we're in the rehearsal phase of this, I walk into the classroom and let's say it's a first floor classroom, and the teacher's name is Mrs. Adams. I'm like, Mrs. Adams, you're on the first floor. You've been told to lock down. It's not a drill, right? So there's a bad guy coming. Where would you go? And obviously, because she's on the first floor and she's got all glass windows on the back side of her classroom, like most first floor classrooms do, she can't lock down. She's got to go up to the second floor or higher, or has to retreat to a different room where there are no external windows in order to effectively lock down, right? So let's say the attacker's outside, and that's the situation I get her, and it would be to go inside and barricade somewhere. Now, if I change, and then I would say, okay, Mrs. Adams, let's change the scenario slightly. The shooter's in the hallway. What do you do? Well, Mrs. Adams, you should barricade this door, lock it, barricade it, and then you should either open or break out a window and get your kids out of here. That's what you should do, right? And then just run through a bunch of different things. We're like, okay, what would we break the window with? What are we going to do to make sure that no one gets cut? And you can start answering those hard questions and the detail-oriented questions that come along in these types of situations where, everyone learns from it. Everyone learns what to do. And it's more of a back and forth with a knowledgeable instructor. Now, if you have a bad instructor, he's not going to have any of that knowledge. But, hopefully you're going to get a good one. And they'll be able to take you through what you should do, how you should move, like looking out the window, where's your cover as you're going, those types of things. And, really talking about how to barricade that room effectively. All right, so that's the difference. And then let's say you're on the second or third floor and you have drop down ladders that you hook onto your window pane. Where is it? Do we know how to use it? Do you have a reusable set? Those are the ones I recommend, where you can come off, break the ties, and they drop down. You can actually practice not going down and assuming that risk, but hooking it up so people know how to do it, right? That's the key. That's the difference between it becomes an empowerment session, and now you're practicing using window breaks on, glass, obviously not the glass in your doors, but stuff that you've set aside. You're practicing using your tourniquets and, first aid and all that stuff. And it becomes more of a fun day where you're not, going around screaming at everyone with drills and all that stuff. And that's really the most effective way to teach this to the public. Now, first responders, if you're somebody who puts on body armor or who risks their life for a living, I think you should do hardcore, full-blown FTX mission training, simunition, moulage, gunshots, the whole thing. You should train as real as you possibly can. But that's not your students. That's not your teachers. And that's not the rest of it. There's unfortunately, too many people try to make everything the military, or they try to make everything something that it's not. And that's just not an effective way to teach the population. My goal is to teach you in the most advanced tactics and training that I know, the most effective known to man, and to do something that you're actually going to sustain and repeat. I mean, if you're going to do all that other stuff, how often are you actually going to repeat it? Never. You're not going to repeat it. You're going to do it once. It's going to be a flash in the pan, and that's the end of it, right? Because it's too cumbersome. It's a mess. Whereas if you're doing rehearsals, you can do it any day, and then give the kids a half day after. Whatever you want to do, make it a good thing that they look forward to that stuff. So, that's really the type of stuff we should be going to, not, this unannounced active shooter training, which is going to get someone killed or seriously hurt. So, that's the main difference in this. And I hope you guys see the difference now. I see we got some people on. If you guys have any questions or you guys need me to clarify, I hope my sound's good. I didn't do a sound check this time. I'm seeing some green lights. But if you give me a thumbs up or tell me, hey, we hear you, that'd be great. Or else I'm going to have to start this all over, which is my second time. I just did this over on Facebook for about 20 minutes over there. And then I'm getting ready to go over to Instagram and do this there, just because we just want to start changing how people do this training. I don't care if you use us. I mean, I hope you do, right? I hope you do. But if you don't, just start doing this the right way, all right? And stop, training in an effective way, scaring the crap out of everyone. So, all right. Well, if there are no questions, if no one's got anything they really have to say, I'm going to wrap this up. I hope you learned something from this, and I'll see you soon for our next in our series. So we're going to be doing our active shooter series again. We just wrapped up the Parkland one. If you haven't seen that on our page, check it out. It's we really go into depth there, and we don't pull any punches. Please, please, please like and subscribe if you're seeing this. We're trying to reach as many people, and that helps us do that. So thank you. God bless you. God bless America. Trident Shield out.